haze, you can see that there is no sundog around the sun today, and the sky is not blue. So, does not appear to be any particulate, at least, that is refracting the light into a huge chembo above our heads. And the conditions are exactly the same, so it's even more foggy today than most days in Vancouver. And as you can look over here, as we cross in front of this huge truck, we've got mountains of haze. We have intense fogs and forest fire is what has been playing for this instant haze in the city. And yet, I don't smell forest fire. I've been around quite a few forest fires, and we've got these very, very familiar looking linear cloud formations, as you can see, just above this haze. And if this haze is to geoengineer anything, it certainly didn't do its job, because it's totally warming up and making it humid, so big fail if this is geoengineering.
Then actually we should be entertaining Plan B, even if we're lobbying or if we're reasonably confident that Plan A will work out anyway. So we want to know, just in case, you know, what space will we be in if Plan A fails, and what are the options then? So to my mind, it's actually a good argument to be made to map out the options, to know what we're dealing with, just in case we need to.
Yeah. Look, I think that's a perfectly legitimate argument, and there are some careful, thoughtful scientists who have decided that the situation is so dire that we do need to investigate Plan B because we may be compelled to use it. And I think that's a legitimate argument, but I think there are serious, as the thrust of my talk indicate, there are serious risks, and that is that if you project yourself forward 20 or 30 years, when we suddenly wake up, I mean, many of us have already woken up, of course, but the world more generally wakes up to it and decides to go down the climate engineering path, who actually is going to take over and control it then? It's not going to be the cautious, careful scientists who are saying, look, we must debate first and only regard this as a backup plan. It's more likely to be the venture capitalists, the conservative governments looking for a quick fix. So that's what frightens me about geoengineering. I mean, a couple of people have said to me, look, you've just written a book saying that it's too late, we can't stop catastrophic climate change, so really the logical conclusion for you is to just say, well, we have to use Plan B. But I don't advocate that, and the reason for that is that I don't think we have the capacity to make proper decisions about Plan B. I think we have to first reflect as a community, a global community. I think we have to reflect very carefully on how we got to this point, why we've allowed ourselves to get into this intractable crisis. And I think the thinking that got us into this mess will not get us out of it. In fact, if we use the same thinking that got us into this mess, that is that technology will solve it, let's embark on large engineering type problems, let's look for the cheapest option, let's take the view that whatever happens we can intervene and control the impacts just as we always have. I think we're drunk on 300 years of technological conquest, and to argue that the answer is more of that thinking and that sort of intervention on even grander terms, I think is really inviting disaster. I think that if we, even in 20, 30 years' time, when we've investigated and understand it much better, one thing we've learnt in all the climate science that's been done over the last 20 or 30 years is just how complicated and difficult to understand and control the climate system of the Earth is. And so to attempt to juggle it so that we can deal with the consequences of carbon emissions by changing the chemical composition of the atmosphere. I mean, when you pose it that way, I mean, it almost answers itself, doesn't it? I mean, it's madness. It's a form of madness that we can't understand just how dangerous it is to go down that path. I think, so this is why I say we need a transformed consciousness where we understand that we can't control nature. And if we attempt to, then nemesis will kick in. So that's why, I mean, I think that's how we have to frame this whole thing, rather than saying, we've got this problem caused by technological overreach, no worries, we'll just come up with another grand technology to solve it.
And this is the canola, because shrimp, to be natural, it has to have, toxic oil in it. So we're going to put some canola on it because canola will kill you. Canola will kill you.